It is May 10th, 1942. Axis forces continue to push towards Stalingrad and continue to move east towards the Caspian Sea. The skies across the map remain to be mostly rain. Looking across the map itself, you can see the various brown hexes, all representing mud to some degree. And while generally this would favor me and my army on the defensive side, there are a lot of issues that I'm facing currently that I do discover this turn. But first, getting into the actual recap of the turn itself. Near the actual city of Stalingrad, my opponent has only done one attack. Now, this is a significant attack because it goes straight at two of my Guards Rifles divisions. And this is a problem with the lack of having the initiative. Wherever he wants to attack, he's going to have the numerical superiority. And that should hold true for me too on my turns. I just don't have an army that's at all built for anything offensive. So the losses of manpower and equipment here are honestly irrelevant. It's just more the fact that it's another battle where the decisions I make, whatever support units I bring in, it just doesn't really turn the tide. So he takes advantage of it. He pushes me back. We'll see what happens when he continues to press into June, but it's not boding well up here in the north. In the south, things are relatively similar. My retreat in the Caucasus Mountains, he strikes at a very weakened division, pushes them back. Near my line at Grozny, he hits two of my divisions south of the city before striking out across the river, and he wins all of these engagements and pushes me back. Other than that, the only other thing that becomes evidently obvious whenever we transition into the beginning of my turn, all those forces that he had retreated south of Tambov to refit at Veroneza, they have all returned and are lined up, so I very much expect heavy combat to be here when I get my turn back. Taking a dive into my side of the turn, starting the air, as you always do, I did figure out what my issue was with why certain air wings were flying when I was under the impression that they were not being ordered to. So as one can expect, it was a mistake on my part. In the last several months of this war, at this point in time, the Russian player gets a lot of their AOGs stripped from them, and then over the next several months, they'll start to be given back to me. I'm not really quite sure the point of this mechanic, although it does obviously represent the restructuring of the Russian air wing, which did happen historically. But this leaves, with me having 8,000 airplanes, a lot of my air squadrons just sitting there individually under the Leningrad air wing or Moscow defense group, whatever you want to look at. And I have not been quite in the habit of deleting every single air directive every single turn. So there has been a lot of these individual squadrons that have been sitting there with day and night, day only mission types, even though I'm not assigning them to any of these bombing missions because they're like a little extreme on the wing of the vast area that I'm giving these air wings to try to cover. It's here where they are getting sucked up, at least this is my current theory, where they're getting sucked up into these, I gotta go provide air superiority over this random battle south of Stalingrad, and then all of a sudden 52 fighter bombers are shot down. So I'm hoping I've solved this, and I'm gonna do a better job at paying attention to these little details as I begin each turn, moving forward into the rest of this campaign, however long this one lasts, and into the next one that I do play when I do start over. As of the actual missions that I do run, it's very similar to the last 2 weeks. It's just these biplanes hitting him on his flanks where he doesn't have an adequate amount of airfields to provide any hope of bringing air support in. If he were to be able to do that, I would quit flying these rather fast. The good news on this turn is the arrival of the Trans-Caucasus Front. This is a full-fledged front with, I believe, 81 command rating limit, as opposed to that North Caucasus one that was captured when Grozny fell 2 weeks ago. But Bad news is the fact that I just don't quite have enough infantry to even fill this up, but it's going to move up northward, and I'm going to put it in towards Astrakhan, so it's going to allow 3 of these armies to switch over to it, which will allow more flexibility with the southwestern front, which is one of my assault fronts, and the southern to try and defend Stalingrad itself. There are currently too many divisions sitting here that are under Stavka. So that will change, and hopefully this is right in the nick of time. Here, though, at the city itself, the basic decision that I'm doing is going to be falling back towards it. Hoping this with the mud allows me to build up some of these units that have been sitting here for quite a while, not increasing in manpower, which is mainly the issue of this turn. So I'm going to address that right now by switching over to this screen. So this is a common screen in the logistics phase report that I always look at the beginning of my turn. And generally, this 5th column here represents what men went to what army. And it's mostly me looking down and to see like, oh, the Central Front's getting it because the 6th Army's in there or whatever. But looking at it this turn, this is a turn after where I got 200 and some thousand men that were supposed to reach the map. None of them are here. I mean, I did get 13,000 to go to that 6th Army. I got 11,000 to get spread out somewhere in Stavka and various areas down, but nothing that we really would expect the like reinforcements that I was supposed to get. So when I dug down into looking at actual rifle divisions, I got plenty sitting on depots that are sitting at 6,000 men, and they've been refitting for like 2-3 weeks. So that's when I move over to, well, I didn't do this all in the same unison. I was moving around trying to figure out why one division wasn't refitting. And then when I went to the screen, I found it, and I realized that it's sitting under a maximum TOE of 50%. And then when I sorted based on that, that's what you're seeing here is me reacting to the fact that I figured out there's a good 20, 30 rifle divisions that I had, which most of them are the ones I was waiting to refit, that are just hanging out with orders basically never to reach more than 50% their full fill. So they're at that 48, 49, which I'm assuming is expected to be the like weekly deserters and damaged equipment, and they're never getting above that. So my manpower pool is at like 130,000. I got units in the reserves that are doing their thing, but these guys are sitting on the map desperately waiting for, I guess, me to just order them to start growing again. So this is a major oversight that I have not paid attention to basically for the entire war. Alas, it is these lessons that I embarked on this mission to basically learn. I know Grigsby games are complicated. My mind's a lot more tuned to war in the Pacific, and I'm still learning a lot in that game as well. But I very much enjoy this era and this side of the ground war of World War II. So I'm going to keep at it and keep learning, but I definitely wanted to kick myself when I found this out. So we'll see next week when I get my turn back how much this actually matters.